What is up, everybody? In today's insane video, I'm going to be talking about something a bit different, but kind of the same. The reason it's the same is because it's a continuation of my I Was There series. This is a series where I discuss historical events, trends, and technologies that I personally remember from the past. Now, some of these might be still around today, but I might have remembered when they first came out or were super popular. Now, like my last video in this series, this video is going to cover a few different things. However, I'm putting them in the same video because they're all sort of in the same category. So, with that out of the way, let's jump head first into the actual topic of this video. Now, what I'm going to be talking about in today's video is 360 and 3D videos. Now, I'll talk about 3D later in the video because unlike 360-degree videos, that's not something I have personal experience with, but it sort of goes into the same category and it's technologically interesting and different than normal video. Now, what I'm going to talk about first is those 360-degree videos. Now, if you haven't seen one of these before, basically what it is a video, but instead of having a fixed subject, or the camera is facing a fixed direction, these videos are where you can either drag your finger, move your device, or use your mouse cursor to move the viewpoint in a 360-degree sphere. This basically means the camera, instead of capturing a fixed area, captures the entire 360-degree sphere, and then you decide what part of the video you want to watch. Now, on paper, this sounds amazing, but in reality, it's a horrible monstrosity. First of all, while you can technically watch these 360-degree videos on a regular iPad or computer or phone, however, in order to get the actual full experience, you have to have one of these newfangled VR headset things. And the problem with those is those are $250,000 or more, which is insane. Especially when you consider this kind of video is not really practical. Unlike a regular video, where it's a flat display and can be applied to many different types of content, 360 videos only work in certain situations. First of all, the camera has to stay still. Otherwise, people with the $250,000 headset are going to get like car sick. Also, if you're making a video that has a fixed subject, these 360-degree videos don't work because the person might be looking somewhere else when something happens. Also, these 360-degree videos are insanely low quality. Now, since they're stretched out over a 360-degree sphere instead of just a small area, the resolution has to be stretched too, which means you get a lot of compression artifacts and pixelization, especially if you have a less than optimal Wi-Fi connectivity system. Another problem is since the way 360-degree videos work is instead of being filmed by one camera with one lens and one sensor, it is usually two or more cameras that are digitally stitched together in post-production to make this sphere, which can end up having weird artifacts. Like you can see the tripod, and there's artifacts where the videos were stitched together, and all sorts of problems. Now, you might be wondering why I'm talking about this in a video series that's supposed to be about past historical events. And that's because while these 360-degree videos do still exist today, a few years ago, they were sort of popular. What I mean by that is I remember when they first started showing up on YouTube. There was quite a lot of hype, and there were even big companies trying to get in on this. Like GoPro released their horrible GoPro Fusion. But then the trend started to die down, and people realized it's just a stupid novelty. Now, at this point, I'm basically finished talking about those 360-degree videos. So, now I'm going to move on to my next topic in this video. 3D videos. Now, I would like to come clean here and say that I don't really have any experience with the actual 3D effect. The only time I've actually had that with like an artificial thing is those 3D postcard refrigerator magnet things that if you hold at just the right angle, you can see a little bit of depth. But those don't really work well, if at all. But before we jump into all of that, a lot of y'all might be wondering, what even is 3D? Because you might be a bit confused on how it exactly works or what it even is. Because it's actually pretty rare and uncommon, especially these days. In order to explain how this works, however, I'm sort of going to have to explain how eyes work. Now, you watching this video have probably noticed that you and most people have two eyes. Now, this means when you're seeing an object, your brain is actually seeing two images that it then combines together to make one image. That's why when you're looking at something, you don't see two of something, you just see the something because your brain processes the two images into one. However, since your eyes are about 3 inches apart, the image will be different from eye to eye. You can experience this yourself if you hold out your finger and rapidly close and open each eye like this. You will see that your finger will move in comparison with the background. That's because you're seeing things from a slightly different perspective. However, a really interesting phenomena happens here. The closer an object is to your face, the more different the two images your eyes see are. And the farther away, vice versa. Now, when something's really close, your brain still processes it as one image. However, with two eyes, your brain actually takes the two images, makes 1 and also gets depth information. This is how you're able to judge the distance and size of objects. However, since when we watch a regular video, we don't get separate information to each eye. We just get a flat video, which means you can't really see depth with a normal video. However, people quite a long time ago actually realized this and realized if you filmed a video with 2 lenses about the same distance apart as your 2 eyes, and then somehow displayed each of those images only to one or the other eyes, you could have the 3D effect but do it artificially instead of in real life. And it's real weird. Like, I remember the only time I've seen 3D was with one of those postcard things, and if you held it at the just the right angle, it looked like the postcard was going back a bit, and it was weird. Now, you might be wondering, how are you supposed to get a separate image to each eye? Like, how does that even work? Well, there's a few ways to go about it. For example, a lot of people might be remembering that in the 2010s, there was a bit of a revival for 3D. So there were a few 3D TVs out there that either had glasses and a TV that had vertical and horizontal polarization. Or they had a system where, like, you would have glasses where one thing would shutter closed as the other one opened, as one image played, and one was closed and the other one opened as another side played. But those are expensive and hard to implement, and only really existed as experiments for a few years. However, there is one way to do the whole 3D effect that is my favorite, because it's like a lot cheaper and easy to implement. What this is what's known as Anamorphic 3D, which is where you have an image, you have the 2 images put on top of each other with obviously the slight overlap. However, each image is tinted a different color. You'll have, like, I think it's usually like green and magenta, and they're sort of overlapped with each other. Now, you might be wondering, how would you see 2 images if they're yeeted on top of each other with weird colors? Well, you get special glasses with like 2 gels that are green and magenta respectively. And if you don't know, the way these colored gels work, or colored glass works, is a lot of people think it turns the light that color. But the actual way it works is it blocks all of the light except for the light that's that color. And that's why it makes that color. So the green side, you're only going to see the green image, and the magenta side, you're only going to see the magenta image. Now, a lot of y'all might be wondering how I figured all of this out, and why I'm making a video about it. Well, the reason I remembered that Anamorphic 3D is an actual thing is I was playing Minecraft. An older version of Minecraft. I think it was 1.12. And I was playing around in the settings, because when you play Minecraft, you want to have FOV settings and audio and stuff set the way you want. So I was setting up my settings, and I noticed in this older version, there was something called Anamorphic 3D. And I turned it on, and that effect started with the 2 different colors. And that's how I remembered all of this. Now, while Minecraft has this 3D effect, And I think there are a few videos I saw on YouTube in the past that also have this anamorphic 3D effect. As I said earlier, you need to find specific glasses with gels in them in order to actually utilize this effect. Now, I don't really know if this whole anamorphic 3D thing has much of an actual effect. I don't know if it's going to make it feel like things are jumping out of the screen, or if it's just going to add a little bit of barely noticeable depth to the image. And since 3D isn't really popular right now, these two-colored glasses things aren't the kind of thing that's in a store or I have just laying around my house. But it might be on Amazon. So hold please.
346 minutes later.
Okay, I'm back. And turns out they're a thing. And for surprisingly cheap on Amazon.
Bruh.
So, that gave me an idea. If y'all can get this video to an insane goal of 5 views, I'm gonna get those and film a reaction video of seeing 3D for the first time. But in order to do that, y'all will have to get this video to 5 views. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. Make sure you hit that notification bell and make sure you're subscribed so you get notified when that video finally comes out. And since this is the end of the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. But if you don't feel like seeing this extreme challenge when it comes out, feel free to click another one of my videos that our AI overlords say you will like. And with that out of the way, bye.